Truly one of the most pathetic things that we witnessed in 2023 in terms of political commentary was the attempt to cheerlead a supposed Justin Trudeau liberal comeback narrative based on two polls that were supposedly showing that the Liberals had a chance to win the next federal election. Now, you must think, well, what did these polls say? Did they show the Liberals were neck and neck with the Conservatives? Were they actually above the Conservatives in this new poll? No, the Conservatives were up 10 points in both an Abacus data poll and a Nanos poll, but that was the best news that the Liberals had heard in about 4 or 5 months. And we got articles like this written about it from Max Fawcett. Pierre Poilievre's mouth just opened the door to a Liberal comeback, and Pierre breathed new life into Trudeau's chances. And then this Toronto Star one that said, Trudeau's Liberals gain support at expense of Poilievre Conservatives poll suggest, with a lot of just kind of weird snipes at the Conservatives, pretending as if somehow Poilievre had become too radical and gone over the edge, and a lot of Canadians were rejecting him and going back over to the Liberals. Well, that was a lot to do about nothing, because now the Conservatives are back 17 points ahead in the newest Abacus data poll. And this is not just the only poll that's showing the reverse happening. Even after those two plus 10 polls came out for the Conservatives, there was a lot of other polls still showing the Conservatives up 12, 14, 15. Abacus is usually a little bit more conservative friendly, so I guess that was the shock that it was only plus 10. But so many people had pinned their hopes to a Liberal comeback off of polls that would have still indicated the Conservatives would win a majority. It's quite insane to just see how much the liberal media is willing to bend over backwards in order to turn what is very much a bad data point for the Liberals into a massive sort of sweeping victory for Justin Trudeau. I'm going to make more videos sort of breaking down some of the other polling results that we see from these polls. But when you actually even look at the regionals that are coming out of this Abacus data poll, this is not just a plus 17 popular vote win potentially. This is a sweep of Parliament. This is something where the Conservatives could have like 230 seats and the Liberals would be below 60 or 50. This is a horrible result for the Liberals, and even a bad result for the NDP. They're at 18 in this. That's neutral from Abacus's last poll. They always say the plus or minus is based on what their last poll says. Some pollsters say the plus or minus based on the federal election. I even doubt that. I don't think that the NDP is going to do that well. I think the Liberals will do a bit better come election time, just simply because they're kind of a default party for any center-left Canadian. And if the media really pushes hard against Poilievre during the election, you're going to have some people act all offended. Oh, I can't vote for Poilievre. He's radical. I'm going to go vote for Justin Trudeau because something Pierre Poilievre's like Trump, because reasons. Well, no actual reason, but supposedly there's a lot of reasons out there. I see people posting about it all day long on social media. Still haven't found a similar policy between Trump and Poilievre, or can anyone even explain take a Trump policy, explain why it's bad, and then connect it to Poilievre. Makes no sense to me. I also don't think that the PPC is going to be at 5 points. I'm sorry to all the people watching this who are big PPC fans. The problem with the PPC is that they do not prove, like a lot of new parties do not prove, that they can win seats. And you could say, well, that's just that's somehow to do with corruption, or it's just people need to wake up more and then they'll realize they need to vote for us. Really not how politics works. Whenever I see PPC guys online saying, just keep posting on social media, everyone's a sheeple except us, the Conservatives and the Liberals are basically the same, all this stuff. These people don't fundamentally understand politics, that by just trying to create a stir on social media is not how you're going to reach the average person who is not terminally online looking at political issues. You're not going to win that way. And even this 5%, I think these polls tend to overestimate how well the PPC does, simply because PPC people are very likely to pick up the phone and tell you who they're voting for. I also think that the Green Party could probably be doing better than 4%. The only reason they only got 2% in the last race was because Anami Paul was their leader, and because the Green Party has a deep issue with anti-Semitism. A bunch of people refused to run for the Greens while Anami was the leader, so they only had 70% of ridings with candidates, which makes you kind of seem like a lame duck party. So a lot of people just didn't end up voting for them because they were barely even present in the federal election. But anyways, I just want to get back to just the idea of, well, what are the Liberals going to do now with this plus 17 result? They threw everything and the kitchen sink at Pierre Poilievre over the last few months, called him conspiracy theorist, went after Leslyn Lewis for supposedly being evil because she doesn't support the UN and whatnot. I have that graphic right here that Mark Gerritsen was putting out. Uh, they've gone after like Michelle Ferreri. They've gone after other conservative MPs for supposedly being secretly bad far right people, and it's not worked. It's almost like at this point, the Liberals might actually have to start doing real policy work to reverse a bunch of the bad decisions they've made over the past 8 years. Now, they're not going to do that because the problem for the Liberals is that it's run by Justin Trudeau's ego. And over the last two federal elections, he thinks he's proven to himself that he's untouchable, that even though he can't win a majority, the media is always going to come in, clean up for him, and make sure that they suppress the ability for the Conservatives to win. It's not going to happen this time when there's a very obviously conservative leader running the party. With O'Toole, Trudeau didn't really win as much as Aaron O'Toole failed to win because he wasn't conservative. And I just want to quickly, again, comment on just how pathetic it was that so many people in the media were trying to pretend like there was a real chance for the Liberals to come back. These people are not neutral journalists. They are Liberal cheerleaders and stenographers. This is what the polling trend looked like. You see that very minor rise for the Liberals and that very minor dip for the Conservatives, just a little bit to the left of where the line ends. That's what they were counting on would be a massive comeback for the Liberals. The Liberals have never been down this far in the polls since the 2011 election, and yet we still have the media pretending like this is a two-horse race. The fundraising numbers show that the Liberals are actually closer to the NDP in yearly donations than the Conservatives. The Conservatives are more than doubling the Liberal fundraising numbers. Even if the Liberals came back in the polls, they wouldn't have the money to run an election. That's why every single time I hear someone say, there's a spring election going up, there's a spring election that's going to happen. No, it's not. The Liberals couldn't afford a spring election. And it doesn't matter how much in-kind contributions they get through media coverage or potential illegal money they could get from China. There is not the ability for them to field candidates in every single riding and not be obviously so underfunded that a lot of these would just be token efforts in a lot of these ridings. And even though they can't win them, when you're one of the natural governing party of Canada and you're running token candidates, that's what makes you truly look like you're about to lose the next election. Even the Conservatives will try and put up a good effort in some downtown Toronto ridings just to prove that they're a national party. When the Liberals won't be able to run competent candidates in the city of Calgary, that's what's going to indicate to a lot of Liberals elsewhere in the country that this party knows it's about to lose. Anyways, that's it for me today. You can give to my usual fundraising link in the description of this video, the Give, Send, Go for my legal defense against a billionaire. I'm winning it, but he's just trying to drag this out. He had no evidence that we said anything wrong about him, yet he is still pursuing this lawsuit. So it's cost me more than $25,000, but I will be fighting it to the end. And then also, just a reminder again, I am running for the Calgary Signal Hill. Wyatt Claypool. Sometimes I don't mention my names in these videos. So, a lady mentioned I should start saying what my name is. I am Wyatt Claypool. So I'm running for the Conservative nomination for Calgary Signal Hill. So if you live in Calgary Signal Hill on the west side of Calgary, make sure to buy a membership and vote for me number 1 on your ballot whenever the nomination date takes place. It's great I can make these videos because right now it is like -30 outside without the wind chill. And so I door knocked yesterday when it was like -22. That was very cold. Now it's not even just cold outside, it's just dangerous. So I'm going to stay inside and do campaigning from video for a little bit. Anyways, that should be it for me today, and I'll be back later with another video.